Peace, love, wholeness, divine love chosen. Welcome back to the channel. If you're seeing this, that means this message is for you. So go ahead and receive it as it resonates. If it don't, just let it fly and keep it pushing, y'all. We're gonna get another quick message, okay? Like I said, I am going to be showing up more consistently now, and I just feel it heavy on my spirit. Okay, last night and I'm gonna try to make it a quick message because I gotta wait until I clear my storage for real, so that I can do the longer in-depth messages. But we can release like this, quick messages throughout the day as well. So let me go ahead and see what needs to be illuminated. Gratitude. I hope all is well. I hope y'all are doing well, taking care of yourselves, doing the best you can for you and yours. Just period. Gratitude. What needs to be illuminated in the energy? We got seasons. I'm gonna pull another one for that one. Worthiness. Live out loud. And sacred lust. Okay. Yeah, we got truth at the bottom of the deck. Basically, y'all, after last night's message, I did, like, after the camera had cut off, I also had to, like, face myself and do some forgiveness work towards my mother for the trauma, um, that I done been through with my mother. And also because I feel like there's an energy. I had a dream last night about my mother, and um, immediately when I woke up, I went into forgiveness mode, right? Prayer and forgiveness. And I did fall back to sleep, but because it was like mad early in the morning, I had woke up from that first dream and had went to go use the potty. Um, Usually when I dream about my mother, I wake up like in a shock, like. But also my dreams have been very lucid lately. But before I had went to bed, like after the reading, I have spoken about like forgiveness, right? And when the video had cut off, I went into like forgiving my mother or reflecting on my mother wounds, especially because like there are, my girls in the energy who there's kind of like a love-hate relationship or energy, right? And my angels, my guides, my spirit guides and my angels are the people that I have aligned with, my girls, my friends, the people that I have aligned with, that I have deeply loved on a deeper spiritual level. And they are illuminated in the energy a lot, and was basically getting into forgiveness energy with um, my, like, starting at the root of my family, right? My mother wounds, my sister wounds, right? And so I immediately went into that. But then when I had fell asleep, I had this crazy ass dream, like, about how, like, about my mother, right? And basically what I realized, I'm not gonna get too much into the details, but I was outraged because of, it felt real, and in the dream I was outraged. So there could be like feminine energies in your energy that are outraged and need to do some deep mother wound or sister wound healing. And they could be projecting that outrage towards you, in which in the dream it had woke me up to to that healing, right, to the forgiveness work that I have to do within myself to release that resentment or release that trauma, and acknowledge that trauma, uh, from the trauma I went through with my own mother. And so, um, basically, what was I finna say? A lot of y'all could be in the energy needing, forgiveness is a consistent thing. Healing is a consistent thing. Even, healing through balance and through sacrifice and through strengthening your mind through sacrifice. Um, through embracing the poison, right? The wholeness of life. And so, um, basically, in the dream, it felt like I was still under, or I was still under her control, and I was still around her energetically, and it felt like it was really real, like we were still living together, like we were still, and I was like spazzing, right? Because at this point in my healing journey, denial and deception and emotional manipulation triggers me to being on that 0 to 100 type of energy, like especially back then. But then I had woke up and completely went into forgiveness and gratitude, because that's not true for my reality in the here and now. I am free from her. I am liberated from that energy. I am on my own and responsible for my own mother wound healing and even my own daddy wound healing. But it was more so the mother wound that was reflected. So I feel like before we get into this reading, I just wanted to express this as well, to release this, because since I woke up, it's been on my heart as well to share the message. Hi, Lala. What? What, Mama? What? Come. Hey. She's over there playing with my rabbit's foot. Say hi. Okay. But basically, um, for some of y'all, who are still healing those mother wounds and who are still taking on the energy of your mother, right? And we got passion and hope coming out first. What? You want to read the cards for them? She's so cute. Okay, passion. Passion is the driving force that propels you forward, representing your love and commitment to life. When you feel passion, it means you are moving toward what you truly desire. Your heart is full of endless power. Hope. Hope is the bridge to the future, helping you believe that tomorrow holds greater promise. Regardless of today's circumstances, hold on to hope, as it will be the source of strength to move forward. Okay? Passion, right? And on a personal level, like doing readings and being of service, to my ancestors and my spirit guides, to be a better service to myself and to then be a better service to the people. Um, Maintaining your hope, right? Even when it is, even when the frequencies trigger you to, um, especially on a larger scale with the government and the president's outrage and, um, attacks on our humanity, and the government attacks on our humanity. Um, Maintaining, right? Maintaining your worth. standing firm and maintaining your hope regardless, okay? By living out loud and expressing yourself. Yeah, wisdom at the bottom of the deck. But basically, for those of y'all who are still healing those mother wounds, right? Because, it's a lifelong process. There's no destination on this healing journey. There's no destination, there's no uh, one sidedness of, being all the way demonic and then being all the way all love and light, right? Um, those are people living in illusions, right? As I mentioned yesterday. But basically, for those of y'all who are still affected by those mother wounds and those frequencies, it may be, you may be at a space where you are called to speak up and use your voice instead of internalizing that rage and affecting people who don't deserve that rage, or internalize resentment because of your inability to, or your past inability to stand up to your mother, set your boundaries, really express the pain that you've been through, the trauma that you've been through, right? Even if they are in denial. Back when I was awakening, and a lot of us empaths, we can tend to be our mother's um, emotional carriers, right? We tend to carry all of their emotions, all of their unprocessed emotions, all of their emotions that they hide. All of, like, as empaths, we feel it all, we pick up on it all, right? And everybody's journey is different, everybody's relationship with their mother is different. But those of us who come from deep generational karma and trauma and wounds from our uh, older generation, we tend to carry all of that, right? That they want to project on us through the deception, the denial, the spiritual manipulation that they inflict on themselves. And so they try to turn it in on us to inflict that spiritual manipulation on us when we are uh, divine love chosen beings, and we feel and resonate on a deeper level in loving energy with the truth and the truth only. And if you're not receiving that from your mother, then you can internalize that resentment and treat the women of your life, right? Your friends, family, the women of your life, the ways in which your mother treated you or is continually treating you. And that goes for men and women, men with mother wounds as well. The ways in which your mother is continually treating you and mistreating your energy and taking advantage of your energy, um, because you are called to set your boundaries and take full responsibility for your own life, and your own journey and your own path, instead of remaining stuck, um, allowing that resentment to linger within you, and allowing that rage that um, even your mother may carry. A lot of us feminines, and even us divine feminines, have that internal rage just because of the state of the world and because of how Mother Earth truly and genuinely feels right now. I'm thinking of the movie Moana, where, you know, there was uh, 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 somebody, a masculine energy had stole the heart, right, of the ocean, basically. And um, the feminine energy became so enraged that she was filled with a whole lot of rage and fire, and she was hardened. And then when Moana saved her and put the heart back in place into her rock, right, her hardened heart, right, put the green little gemstone back into her heart, she softened, right? She turned she grew basically. Her leaves grew, her flowers grew, all around her basically. So that's a good example of, the deep generational trauma that us as women feel, right? Let's get back to this energy. I just wanted to illuminate that energy too, because yeah, the feminines is, there's a lot of confusion in the energy, and the feminines is um outraged through, you know, patriarchal suppression, and outraged through toxic masculinity, and outraged through um the generational trauma that has been suppressed and ignored because of society, and because of the ways in which our femininity, our divine femininity, has been suppressed and diminished by the world and toxic masculinity. Living out loud, having faith. Faith is a powerful belief that keeps you unwavering in the face of challenges. Faith is not blind. It is a deep trust in yourself and the universe's power. When faith appears, it reminds you to stay true to your beliefs, right? Living out loud, staying true to your beliefs, to your core values, right? Um, Cultivating that faith within yourself. Nobody else can give you that faith. Nobody else can. And if you need people to give you that faith that is rooted from a place of uh, ego, that is rooted from a place of um, siphoning energy, right? Instead of cultivating that and being rooted within yourself as well, right? Reflection at the bottom of the deck. Sacred lust with shame. Shame stems from judgments of yourself or others, making you feel unworthy or insufficient. When you feel shame, remind yourself that you are complete, and you are a complete and special individual. True growth comes from accepting all parts of yourself and healing with love, right? And that also to stems from, we got awakening at the bottom of the deck. That also stems from the mother wound and the daddy wound as well. Um, those of us who come from those toxic, karmic, family, generational curses, we have to face that shame head on and really alchemize feeling like we need that societal validation, feeling like we need validation from others, right? Really being able to hold our shame that is natural, right? Just like our happiness and our joy is natural, emotions are natural. We may not all experience the same reality, but we all experience the same basic level emotions, because that's who we are as human beings. We may emote differently, but we all experience the same basic level emotions. We all know what passion feels like. We all know what it feels like to have hope. We all know what it feels like to have faith, and we all know what it feels like to hold shame as well. And we all know what it feels like to not have hope or faith in those other lower vibrational emotions as well. Um, even no two people, not even twins with the same eyes, experience the same reality throughout their life. Not the same eyes, but not even identical twins, right? Who share the same heart, basically. Experience. They have two different sets of eyes. They experience their things and see things in different ways that help each other or balance each other. Um, but as a humanity and as people, we all experience uh, these emotions, all level all of these emotions, one way or the other. So, but healing those mother wounds, right? Healing those mother wounds, especially us as empaths, men and women, we tend to carry those generational curses. Those we tend to carry those that lingering resentment, or carry their shame for them, or carry their guilt for them, right? Or carry their denial for them if we don't face it head on, if we're unable to hold our shame and our guilt and our quote unquote low vibrational emotions that everybody, perpetrating this love and light energy is so in denial of, because they're so focused on hyper ascending and um, perpetrating godliness through one-sided illusions and denial of wholeness, right? So, um, healing those mother wounds and really reflecting and really doing the internal work of facing those demons that our parents, even our daddy wounds, that our parents were running from and that our parents were in denial of, really facing those emotions and those traumas and being real about the traumas instead of holding their denial for them, instead of um, while holding them accountable for the traumas. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean that you don't appreciate the sacrifices that they've made. It doesn't mean that you don't hold space in your heart for them. It just means that you honor your emotional experience, you honor your spiritual experience, you honor your reality without them trying to project what um, what the reality that they want you to believe, right? In order to run away from their own shame and run away from their own accountability of the trauma that they have caused you. Okay? I'm only gonna do a few tarot messages because let's see what's up. Let's see what's going on in the energy. I just really wanted to get that out as well because that was sitting heavy on my heart. What needs to be illuminated? We got Nine of Pentacles energy with the Death card here. Um, um, yeah, I kept touching that Hope card. It's like even when, even when, even when, what you call it, even when people try to, do the egomaniatrics around you or towards you, um, remember that you are always self-sufficient, right? Even when the people try to project those egomaniatrics onto you, people who are determined to misunderstanding you, people who are determined to trying to dim you, right? People who are determined to trying to um, take your hope, or take your faith. Um, remember your Nine of Pentacles energy. Just because you are self-sufficient, that doesn't mean you don't deserve genuine care, right? That doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be cared for from a genuine space and loved from a genuine space, a genuine loving frequency. Four of Cups energy. And Judgment. Yeah, people could be in regret, right, with this Four of Cups energy for the judgments that they have tried to project on to you. But yeah, they could be, people under divine judgment, okay, because they wanted you to feel ashamed about your calling, or they wanted you to feel ashamed about um, yourself, right? Your ability to vibrate from a unconditionally loving energy, your ability to create that safe space for people to be themselves and feel uh, like themselves and feel that sense of safety that were unwilling to provide for you because of their own internal trauma. Yeah, because of their own internal trauma, right? They could be heavily under divine judgment for um, trying to siphon that energy from you with ill intentions through egomaniacs. And that's also a part of the reason why you took a step back as well from the egomaniacs and from, yeah, allowing yourself to go through the ego death that you needed to go through so that you won't get too caught up in the propaganda, so that you won't get too caught up in the numbers, so that you won't get too caught up in what the in people taking advantage of your empathy and people taking advantage of your energy, your sacred energy, right? And those people who are in this all love and light energy, or hyper ascended, super spiritual energy, they understand the spiritual laws. So when they act clueless, and when they act clueless about why they are receiving what it is that they are receiving, why they are under divine judgment, the ways in which that they are under divine judgment, they only further mislead themselves. Okay. Four of Pentacles in reverse. It's like we got the 4-4 here, so divine protection. Yeah, your faith is protected. Um, it's like, yes, you have to be rooted in your worth, just period. Your worth, just period. But also, you're not above reciprocating that energy towards people who are heavily trying to spiritually attack your energy, right? People who wanted you to feel unworthy, now they're feeling unworthy. People who wanted you to feel left out, they feel left out. People who wanted you to feel like you were replaceable, right? People who tried to replace your energy with other people because they just was too determined, their ego was too determined to disrespecting your energy. They feel like you living out loud or you aligning with your divine love chosen is going to make them feel left out and replaced and stuff like that, because that's what they have done and caused you, right? So I feel like um, spirit isn't allowing people to get it under divine judgment in their heart space. I feel like spirit isn't allowing them to um, be guarded through egomaniacs. Spirit is forcing them into uh, a vulnerability, just like me, right? Pushing me into the vulnerability that is necessary. Okay, because of all of the spiritual abuse that they have been indulging in, right? Who's this? Yeah, because of all of the spiritual abuse that they have been indulging in as well, right? By attacking, spiritually attacking, misusing their gifts, right? All the uh, hexes, jinxes, and curses with ill intentions, right? Um, trying to control your life through the egomaniacs, right? Trying to affect your life through the egomaniacs, while the whole time you are alchemizing it like a motherfucker, tap dancing on these motherfuckers' heads, just period. Okay? No, right? I am not a nice person. I am a kind person, but I'm not a nice person. There's a difference. We live in wholeness, we live in balance, And we ain't finna come up on these social medias perpetrating for no amount of numbers or for no amount of likability, period. Period. Because that's how you stay spiritually rooted and in alignment with truth, with wholeness, with love, with peace, with your divine spiritual calling as the divine love chosen. We ain't perpetrating shit. We are healing and breaking free from the egomaniacs and the propagandas that want us to be insecure, want us to be in these propagandic, egomaniac, what you call Olympics, right? They want us to be, comparing our lifestyles or perpetrating a lifestyle or enslaving ourselves to perpetrate a lifestyle as well, right? You're not falling for any of that shit because you see through the illusions and you vow to stay in alignment. You vow to be rooted in spirit. You vow to your ancestors before you vow to anybody else. And that's where you have had to be through survival. That's where you have had to be, right? And so your truth is awakening other people, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, right? Your alignment, your truth, your energy, what you exude is the catalyst for the people that you love, the people that you have loved, and the people that you do align with in the here and now. And that's just the reality. Even though it may hurt you when you recognize that, the egomaniacs that may hurt you and hurt your spirit, you understand the truth at the core of it. So you also have to do some healing and releasing that comes from uh, your ego being hurt, right? If people can't appreciate you on a deep level because their ego and their selfishness and they're pretending and perpetrating, then you see what it is. You set your boundaries. You love people from a distance. You move forward. You stay rooted in your purpose. You protect yourself. You protect your peace. You protect your purpose. You protect your family. You protect your home. Just period. Just period. And don't ever feel ashamed for loving genuinely. Being gratitude for the lessons, regardless. Turning the lessons into blessings, regardless. Okay? I hope that helps, Devon Love Shows, and I hope it resonates. If it do, be sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe. If you need to find me anywhere, fulfill the prophecy and follow me. Everything is in my description. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.